What if I told you that your brain is biologically wired to focus on negativity, and it's sabotaging your happiness every single day? We wake up tired, scroll through bad news, compare ourselves endlessly, and call it normal. But what if normal is the real problem? In this deep dive, we plunge into Eden Storm's Mastering Positive Thinking, a blueprint that doesn't just motivate you, it rewires you. Discover the hidden habits stealing your joy. Learn how positivity isn't fake, it's trained. And unlock the science-backed secrets to transforming your mindset, relationships, and life. Because once you master your thoughts, you master your future. Stay with us. What you'll hear next might just flip your inner world upside down.
Hello, everyone. Hi, all, and welcome to BookPodCastZone. I'm your host, Emma.
Yeah, I'm John. Today, we're taking on Eden Storm's highly acclaimed book, Mastering Positive Thinking. This isn't just about, feel-good vibes, is it?
Not at all, no.
It's a practical, science-backed guide to fundamentally changing your mindset. Our mission is to extract the most potent insights, those aha moments that can actually shift how you experience your daily life. You've shared this incredible resource with us, and we're here to help you get the most out of it.
Sure.
Okay, let's dive right in then. Chapter 1, The Power of Positive Thinking. This is where Eden Storm really lays the groundwork, right? The foundational idea of just how much our thoughts influence, well, everything.
Exactly. And what's really interesting right off the bat is how Storm tackles this common misconception.
Me too.
Well, the idea that positive thinking means, sticking your head in the sand or ignoring reality.
Right, like toxic positivity.
Precisely. But her core argument is much more robust. She argues that optimism isn't naive. It's actually a powerful force that actively shapes our mental health, our careers, even our relationships.
And she really hammers home that it's a skill, not just something you're born with.
Yes, that's key. She emphasizes it's a learned skill, something you can cultivate, practice, strengthen. Like building a muscle, essentially, not just an innate trait.
I find her blend of brain science and practical psychology so compelling here. It's not just philosophy. It's about actual neurology.
Yeah.
She talks about how being optimistic can reduce stress, lower cortisol levels, for example.
Yeah, exactly. She explains how positive thinking can actually lead to reduced cortisol. That's the main stress hormone.
Okay.
And when those levels are lower, you literally feel less stressed, your body's healthier, your mind's clearer. She makes that complex science pretty accessible, I think.
Definitely. And this isn't totally new ground, is it? You mentioned context earlier.
Right. Storm's work, it builds on things that came before, but really updates them. Think back to the 1950s, Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking.
A classic.
Absolutely. Peale popularized the idea that optimism, affirmations, visualization, they could genuinely change your life. But Storm takes those ideas and, crucially, grounds them in modern neuroscience.
So she's providing the why behind it now.
Exactly. For instance, she cites this pretty compelling 2023 Harvard report. It found optimists have a staggering 35% lower risk of heart disease.
35%.
Yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.
That takes positive thinking from just a nice-to-have mindset to something potentially critical for your physical health.
That really shifts the perspective. Let's make it even more real. There's this great example. A small business owner, I think in Seattle, this was back in 2024, sales were declining.
Tough situation.
Right. But instead of getting stuck in the negative, she decided to try Storm's principles. She shifted focus to community engagement, things like free workshops, sharing positive customer stories on social media, really connecting.
Building that positive connection.
Exactly. And the result, by early 2025, her sales actually increased by 20%.
Wow.
It just shows how optimism isn't just internal. It can fuel resilience and real-world growth, even when things look bleak.
That's a powerful example. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? For you listening, can you think of a time when choosing positivity maybe changed things for you?
Yeah, like maybe a really tough day at work.
Right. Instead of just seeing it as draining, maybe you reframed it, saw it as a chance to learn something, to grow.
A challenge, not just a problem.
Exactly. Maybe just take a second now, or later today, pause, and think about a recent challenge. Can you pinpoint one positive outcome that came from it? Might be worth jotting down.
Good prompt. We've really just scratched the surface here of how powerful this mindset can be. And if you're finding these insights valuable, please do remember to like, subscribe, and share. It helps us keep bringing you more content like this.
Definitely appreciate the support.
So now, let's talk about shedding what holds us back.
Yeah.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into Chapter 2. Breaking free from negativity. This is huge, right? Identifying those negative thought patterns, the ones that just creep in, and figuring out how to actually overcome them.
It really is. And Storm is incredibly insightful here. She details these common traps, things many of us do without even realizing it.
Like what? What are some big ones?
Well, things like pervasive self-doubt, constantly questioning if you're good enough, or the comparison trap, always measuring yourself against others, usually ending up feeling inadequate.
Oh, the comparison trap. Social media makes that so easy.
Doesn't it just? Storm offers practical ways to just recognize these patterns when they pop up. That awareness is the first crucial step. It's like she's giving you a mental flashlight, really, to see what's going on in those darker corners of your mind.
I like that, a mental flashlight. And she doesn't just point out the problems, she gives us tools. Journaling comes up a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, journaling is a key technique she highlights. It's presented as this method to track your negative triggers. What situations or thoughts or even people tend to pull you down.
Okay, so you identify the triggers.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then, journaling helps you consciously work on replacing those negative thoughts with more constructive ones. And importantly, she emphasizes it's not about some overnight transformation.
No magic wand.
No, definitely not. It's about small daily steps. A gentle, consistent approach. That makes it feel much more achievable, I think, especially if you feel really stuck in those negative loops.
Feels less overwhelming that way. And this approach, it has roots in therapy, right?
Absolutely. Storm's approach connects strongly to cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. That was pioneered by Aaron Beck back in the 1960s.
Right. CBT.
CBT is all about identifying and challenging those distorted thoughts and unhelpful behaviors. Storm brings it up to date, obviously, with neuroscience and relevance for today, but that core principle is there.
Identify and reframe.
Exactly. And there's research backing this up, too. She mentions a study from the Journal of Behavioral Therapy. It found that consistent journaling could reduce anxiety symptoms by about 25% in just 3 months.
25%, just from journaling.
Pretty significant, right? A measurable impact on well-being from a relatively simple practice.
Okay, let's talk about another real-world example. This one's a tech worker in New York dealing with imposter syndrome in 2025.
Ah, yes, imposter syndrome. Very common, especially in high-pressure fields.
Totally. So despite being talented, she constantly felt like she wasn't qualified. She started using Storm's journaling technique. Every day, just writing down achievements, even small ones.
Focusing on the evidence against the negative belief.
Exactly. And through that consistent practice, she started to reframe her inner voice. Instead of, I'm not qualified, it became something like, I'm growing with every task.
Shifting the narrative.
Yes, and this wasn't just internal. By mid-2025, she was confidently leading a major project at her company. It really shows how tackling that negative self-talk head-on can empower you.
It really does. So maybe something for you listening to try, perhaps on your commute or just in a quiet moment later. Try noting down one negative thought that comes up. Just one. And then consciously try to reframe it. If the thought is, I failed, maybe try shifting it to, I learned something important from this. It's about building that mental muscle little by little.
Shifting those ingrained patterns is definitely tough, but as you're hearing, it's totally doable. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, finding it useful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe share it with someone who might benefit.
We'd appreciate that.
Coming up next, we're going to explore how we can literally rewire our brains. So we've talked about breaking free from negativity, and that leads us perfectly into Chapter 3, Cognitive Reframing. This is where Eden Storm really gets into how we can take challenging situations and, transform how we see them, viewing them as opportunities, not just roadblocks.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really fascinating from a brain science perspective.
Neuroplasticity, right?
Precisely. Neuroplasticity, the brain's incredible ability to change and adapt. Storm explains that the act of reframing, consciously choosing a different perspective on a situation, it isn't just a mental trick.
It's doing something physical.
It's actively rewiring your brain. It forms new neural pathways, strengthening your capacity for resilience. So you're not just coping, you're literally building a stronger, more adaptable brain as you do it.
Wow. So our thoughts are literally sculpting our brains.
In a very real sense, yes. It's quite profound when you think about it.
That is profound.
Yeah.
And she gives practical steps for this reframing, which are so helpful. It's about taking those inevitable setbacks we all face.
Right, they happened.
And consciously reinterpreting them. Like, she talks about job loss. That can feel devastating.
Absolutely.
But it can be reframed maybe as a chance to explore a new path. pursue a passion project, or even start that business you've been dreaming about.
It's about shifting from feeling like a victim of circumstance to seeing potential and possibility, finding the agency in the situation.
Yeah, moving from victim to empowered. And this builds on CBT, like we discussed,
Hmm.
but also that neuroplasticity research from the 2000s.
Yes, exactly. That research really solidified the understanding that our brains aren't static after childhood. They're constantly changing, forming new connections based on our experiences and, importantly, our thoughts.
The science caught up with the concept.
It really did. And to underscore this, Storm points to a 2024 study in Nature. This research found that when people reframed stress, seeing it as a challenge to rise to rather than a threat to be feared, their performance actually improved.
Improved how much?
In something like 68% of high-pressure job scenarios.
68%, that's huge.
It's a direct link. Mental technique leads to tangible improvement in performance under pressure.
Let me share another example. This one's a teacher in Chicago, 2025. She was really struggling with classroom disruptions.
A common challenge for educators.
Definitely. Initially, she saw student outbursts as, like, personal failures. I'm not managing this well.
Taking it personally.
Right. But after exploring Storm's reframing techniques, she shifted her view completely. Instead of seeing disruptions only as problems, she started viewing them as opportunities.
Opportunities for what?
Opportunities to teach empathy, self-regulation, understanding, using the moment as a teachable one, not just a disruption.
Ah, that's a powerful shift.
And it had a ripple effect. By the spring of 2025, she saw a 30% improvement in overall classroom behavior.
30%, that's remarkable.
It really is. It shows how changing her internal narrative transformed the whole learning environment, all from reframing.
Incredible. So maybe right now as you're listening, think about a recent setback, something that felt like a roadblock.
Okay.
Can you try just for a moment to reframe it? What potential opportunity or lesson might be hiding in that challenge? Just try looking at it through that different lens.
It really can transform how you navigate tough situations, can it? Keep these insights coming by liking, subscribing, and sharing this deep dive if you're finding it helpful.
Yes, please do.
Next up, we're going to talk about proactively shaping your reality using some other powerful tools. All right, Chapter 4 delves into affirmations and visualization. These are tools Eden Storm presents for actively, reprogramming the mind, planting seeds for the future you want. How does she suggest we actually do this effectively? It's not just wishful thinking, right?
No, definitely not just wishful thinking. Storm provides a very clear framework. For affirmations, she stresses making them positive, present tense, and personal.
Can you give an example?
Sure. So instead of something negative or future focused like, I won't fail at this presentation, you'd reframe it positively and in the present. I am delivering this presentation confidently and effectively.
Okay, I am, not I will be or I won't.
Exactly. And beyond affirmations, she puts a lot of emphasis on visualization. Vividly picturing your goals as if they've already happened. Engaging all your senses. What does it look like, feel like, sound like?
Making it feel real in your mind now.
Yes, convincing your subconscious mind that this desired outcome is already unfolding or is inevitable.
And the key is doing this regularly. Consistency.
Consistency is crucial. Storm really drives this home. These aren't, one-time magic spells. They are tools, mental exercise.
Like working out a muscle.
Precisely. The more you practice these mental repetitions, the affirmations, the visualizations, the stronger your belief becomes, the clearer your focus gets. It internalizes the positive message and starts to genuinely shift your mindset over time.
Sometimes people hear affirmations and visualization and think it sounds a bit out there, but there's history and science here too.
Oh, absolutely. The core ideas aren't new. Storm references Émile Coué back in the early 20th century.
Coué.
Yeah, French pharmacist famous for his autosuggestion technique. His classic line was, "Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better." Simple, but potent.
Huh. Interesting.
But Storm doesn't just rely on history, she grounds it in modern research. She cites, for example, a study mentioned in Psychology Today, which found that visualization can improve actual goal achievement by up to 40%.
40%. That's significant.
It really is. It shows these aren't just feel-good exercises. They are scientifically supported methods for enhancing performance and bringing goals closer to reality.
Okay, let's bring this to life. There's a great example of a marathon runner in London. This was 2025.
Okay.
Preparing for a big race, she decided to really commit to Storm's visualization technique every single day during training.
Daily practice.
Daily. She'd close her eyes, Vividly picture herself crossing that finish line, feeling the energy, hearing the crowd, seeing the time on the clock, everything.
Immersing herself in the success.
Totally. This consistent mental rehearsal didn't just boost her confidence, it had a measurable impact. On race day, she cut her time by a full 10 minutes compared to the previous year.
10 minutes. That's huge in marathon terms.
Isn't it? It really highlights the power of that mental preparation alongside the physical training.
Fantastic example. So for you listening, maybe give it a small try. Sometime today, find a quiet moment. Maybe repeat a positive affirmation that resonates with you. Say it aloud a few times. Or pick one goal, just one, and spend a minute or two visualizing it vividly. What does achieving it feel like? See it. Feel it.
It's pretty amazing how much power our own minds hold to shape our success, isn't it? If you're enjoying this deep dive into mastering positive thinking, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps us out.
We appreciate it.
Now, let's talk about another powerful daily practice, one that's surprisingly simple but incredibly effective. Chapter 5 introduces what Eden Storm calls the gratitude advantage. This chapter really focuses on the huge role gratitude plays, not just in happiness, but in building resilience too. How does she suggest we make gratitude a regular thing?
Well, she focuses on really practical daily habits. One of the main ones she recommends is gratitude journaling.
Just writing down things you're thankful for.
Exactly. It sounds simple, maybe even a bit cliche to some, but by consistently writing down things you appreciate, big or small, you consciously shift your focus.
Away from lack towards abundance.
Precisely. Instead of dwelling on what's missing or what went wrong, you train your brain to notice and appreciate the good that's already present in your life. It fundamentally reframes your perspective over time. I found it incredibly powerful myself.
I agree. It seems small, but the effect can be massive. And it's not just a nice feeling, right? There's science behind this too.
Oh, definitely. Storm explains how practicing gratitude literally rewires the brain for positivity. It strengthens those neural pathways associated with positive emotions. It can even impact neurotransmitter levels.
So you're actually changing your brain chemistry.
In a way, yes. When you consistently focus on gratitude, you're training your brain to actively seek out and appreciate the good things. This makes positivity a more natural default response to life's ups and downs.
And this isn't a new age invention either, is it?
Not at all. Gratitude practices have deep historical roots. Storm connects it back to ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius.
The Roman emperor.
That's the one. He wrote about reflecting on and appreciating life's basic gifts: food, shelter, friends, the ability to think clearly. He understood that acknowledging these simple things fostered contentment.
Wow. So Stoics were doing gratitude journals thousands of years ago.
Essentially, yes. And modern science is now backing up that ancient wisdom. Storm cites a 2023 UCLA study showing that regular gratitude journaling can increase serotonin levels by about 20%.
Serotonin.
Yeah.
That's the feel-good chemical, right?
It's strongly linked to mood regulation and feelings of well-being, yes. So again, gratitude isn't just fluff. It has measurable biological effects.
We have another great real-world story here. A nurse in Miami, 2025, dealing with serious burnout.
A very demanding profession. Burnout is a real risk.
For sure. Inspired by Storm's book, she started journaling just 3 things she was thankful for each day. Really simple stuff sometimes.
Like what?
Like a warm cup of coffee this morning, or a patient smile, or a supportive word from a colleague. Small things.
Finding the good in the everyday.
Exactly. And this simple, consistent practice, it significantly reduced her burnout symptoms.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop there. Her interactions with patients became more positive, more empathetic.
It spilled over into her work.
It did. And she ended up getting a hospital award for outstanding patient care in early 2025. It just shows how that internal shift can create real external ripple.
That's a wonderful illustration. So maybe right now, quick practice for everyone listening. Just take a breath.
Okay.
And silently, or out loud if you prefer, list 3 things you feel genuinely grateful for in this very moment. Big or small. What comes to mind right now?
It's amazing what comes up when you actually pause to think about it. Gratitude really is a game changer. Keep these impactful insights flowing by liking, subscribing, and sharing for more updates.
Please do.
Next up, mastering our inner world so we can better navigate the outer one. Let's talk emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Chapter 6, Building Emotional Intelligence. Eden Storm makes a really strong case here for EI, emotional intelligence, being a kind of bedrock for lasting positivity. How does she define EI in this context?
Well, she breaks it down into two main capabilities. First, recognizing your own emotions, really understanding what you're feeling, why, and what triggers those feelings.
Self-awareness.
Exactly. And second, effectively managing those emotions once you recognize them, rather than just being swept away by them.
Self-regulation.
Right. And this combination, self-awareness and self-regulation, is vital, not just for understanding ourselves better, but for drastically improving our relationships, personal, professional, all of them. It's about navigating that internal emotional landscape and how we interact based on it. Takes practice, for sure.
It sounds like a crucial skill set. And does she offer practical ways to develop it?
Yes, she does. One really useful tool she highlights is simply labeling your emotions, especially when you're feeling stressed or are in a conflict situation.
Just naming the feeling.
Just naming it. Instead of immediately reacting, you pause and identify. Okay, I'm feeling frustrated right now, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling disappointed.
What does that do?
That simple act of labeling creates a little bit of space. A pause between the feeling and your potential reaction. It allows you to respond more thoughtfully, more calmly, instead of just letting the emotion drive your behavior.
Like hitting a pause button internally.
Kind of, yeah. A mental pause button. And this ties into established work on EI, doesn't it?
It does. Storm's framework clearly builds on the foundational work of Daniel Goleman back in the 1990s.
Goleman's book was huge. It really brought EI into the mainstream. His model included self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Storm really hones in on self-regulation and empathy as key drivers for positivity.
And there's evidence this works in real-world settings.
Yes, quite a bit. She mentions a 2024 study from the Journal of Emotional Intelligence. It found that specific EI training led to a 30% improvement in workplace collaboration.
30% improvement in teamwork. That's significant for any organization.
Huge impact, just by helping people understand and manage their own emotions and better understand others.
We have another practical example. A manager in Toronto, 2025, dealing with a lot of team conflict. Productivity was down, morale was low.
Sounds challenging.
Very. So she started applying Storm's EI strategies, really focusing on active listening, not just hearing, but understanding her team members' perspectives, and consciously labeling emotions during tense meetings.
Putting those tools into practice.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about smoothing things over. It genuinely changed the team dynamic. They developed a more positive, understanding environment. And the result? Productivity went up by 15% in the first quarter of 2025.
Wow. Clear link between better EI and better results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shows it's not just soft skills, it's effective leadership.
Definitely. So here's a little practice for you listening. The next time you notice a strong emotion bubbling up, stress, maybe excitement, maybe irritation, just try pausing for a second.
And do what?
Just try to name it silently to yourself. Okay, I am feeling whatever the emotion is. Just notice how that simple act of naming it might shift your experience of it, even slightly. It's a small step towards integrating EI daily.
Developing emotional intelligence really seems key for a more positive and more effective life. If you're finding this deep dive valuable, you know the drill. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
It helps others find this too.
All right, let's talk about staying present, staying grounded. Which brings us nicely to Chapter 7, Mindfulness for a Positive Life. Here, Eden Storm dives into mindfulness techniques, not just for calm, but specifically for fostering presence and optimism, even when life feels hectic. How does she make mindfulness seem less intimidating?
That's a great point, because mindfulness can sometimes sound complex or time-consuming. Storm really emphasizes that it's fundamentally about reducing anxiety and actively cultivating positivity through simple presence.
Paying attention on purpose.
Exactly. Paying attention to the present moment without judgment. That non-judgmental piece is key. It helps us observe our thoughts and feelings without getting tangled up in them, which naturally lessens their grip on us.
So it's not about emptying your mind.
No, not at all. It's about being aware of what's in your mind and in your body and in your surroundings right now with a sense of acceptance. She breaks it down into really simple, accessible exercises anyone can do.
Like meditation and breath work.
Yes, those are core techniques she discusses. But again, she frames them as being very manageable. Even just a few minutes of focused breathing, really paying attention to the inhale and exhale, can significantly calm the nervous system.
Bringing you back to the present.
Precisely. It creates these little islands of intentional presence throughout the day. It builds that mental space where you can observe what's happening internally and externally instead of just automatically reacting to it.
And mindfulness, like gratitude, has ancient roots but modern applications.
Absolutely. Storm connects these practices to ancient Buddhist traditions, practices refined over millennia, but she skillfully adapts them for our, very demanding 2025 lifestyles. It's about integrating timeless wisdom into modern daily routines.
The science keeps backing it up.
Strongly. She references a 2024 study in the Journal of Psychology. It found that even brief, 5-minute mindfulness exercises could reduce anxiety levels by around 30%.
5 minutes for a 30% reduction. That's an incredible return on investment.
Isn't it? It really counters the idea that you need hours of meditation to see benefits. Small, consistent practice makes a real difference.
Let's look at the student example. Sydney, 2025, overwhelmed by exam stress.
Exam stress. A classic application for mindfulness.
Totally. So
Yeah.
this student finds Storm's 5-minute breathing exercise and decides to try it daily. Before studying, before exams, whenever the stress spiked.
Making it a regular tool.
Yes, consistent daily practice. And it didn't just help manage the anxiety, it actually improved focus and concentration. And the tangible result, scored 10% higher on finals compared to the previous year.
Wow. Better scores, less stress. That's a win-win.
Definitely. Shows how mindfulness can directly impact performance, not just feelings.
Great example. So maybe right now, just for a moment, everyone listening, let's try a very quick breathing exercise together. Just take a slightly deeper breath in through your nose. Maybe feel your belly rise. Hold it gently, and then slowly let it out through your mouth. Maybe feeling your shoulders drop a little, just 1 or 2 like that. Notice how you feel.
Instantly calming. Mindfulness is such a powerful anchor to the present moment. If you're gaining valuable insights from this deep dive, please help us spread the word, like, subscribe, and share.
We really appreciate your support.
Okay, finally, we've learned all these amazing techniques. How do we make sure this positivity sticks around for the long haul? That brings us to the final chapter, Chapter 8, Sustaining Positivity for Success. Eden Storm knows it's one thing to learn these tools, but another challenge entirely to keep the momentum going long term. This chapter is all about making positivity stick. What are the key habits she emphasizes?
She highlights a couple of really cornerstone habits for sustainability. One is daily reflection, just taking a few moments each day, maybe morning or evening, to review your experiences. Acknowledge wins, sure, but also learn from the challenges without judgment.
Checking in with yourself consistently.
Exactly. And alongside that, she stresses goal setting. Not necessarily huge, life-altering goals all the time, but setting consistent, achievable targets. Small wins that keep you moving forward, reinforcing that sense of progress and capability.
So reflection plus small, consistent goals creates a positive feedback loop.
That's the idea. It creates this virtuous cycle that reinforces the positive mindset, making it less of a temporary effort and more of a sustainable way of operating.
And this ties into the growth mindset idea again, doesn't it?
Absolutely. She heavily emphasizes cultivating a growth mindset, drawing on Carol Dweck's work, that core belief that your abilities aren't fixed, that you can develop through dedication and hard work.
Seeing challenges as learning opportunities.
All right. Storm shows how this kind of consistent optimism, really fueled by that growth mindset, becomes this powerful engine driving success, personal life, professional life, everything. It transforms how you approach obstacles.
Not as dead ends, but as detours with lessons.
Well put. And again, she connects this clearly to Dweck's influential research from the 2000s, which really changed how we think about achievement.
And there's even recent business data on this.
Yes. Storm cites a current 2025 Forbes article. It highlighted that entrepreneurs who demonstrate a growth mindset are actually 50% more likely to secure funding.
50% more likely. That's a serious competitive edge.
It really is. It shows that this mindset isn't just internal. Investors and partners recognize its value. It signals resilience, adaptability, crucial traits for any venture.
Okay, one last real-world example to tie it all together. An entrepreneur in San Francisco, 2025, launching a startup. Really tough initial phase.
The classic startup roller coaster.
Totally. Lots of uncertainty, plenty of reasons to get discouraged, but she deliberately applied Storm's principles, especially setting weekly positivity goals.
Small, actionable goals each week. Yes. Like this week, I will focus on celebrating small team wins, or this week, I will reframe one negative customer feedback email. Her persistence, fueled by this consistent practice and her growth mindset, it paid off. How so?
By June 2025, she successfully secured $100,000 in seed funding. She navigated that rocky start through sheer mental resilience, built habit by habit.
Incredible. A testament to sustaining the practice. So as you think about integrating all these ideas, maybe the key takeaway is consistency.
Start small, stay consistent.
Exactly. Maybe just set one small positivity goal for yourself this coming week. Journaling once, reframing one thought, a 5-minute mindfulness break. What's one tiny achievable action you can commit to?
What an incredible journey through Eden Storm's Mastering Positive Thinking. If you've enjoyed this deep dive, found it helpful, please do like, subscribe, and share. It really helps others discover these ideas too.
Yeah, we've covered a lot today, haven't we? We took that deep dive into Eden Storm's work, really uncovering how deliberate, consistent practice can genuinely rewire your brain, building more optimism, resilience, and ultimately success.
From cognitive reframing, seeing challenges differently, to embracing the power of gratitude and anchoring ourselves with mindfulness. We've explored these practical, science-backed methods. They show that positivity, it isn't just some fleeting mood.
Right.
It's a trained skill. It's a mental muscle you can consciously choose to strengthen every single day.
And you've heard those real-world examples, the Seattle business owner bouncing back, the Miami nurse overcoming burnout, the San Francisco entrepreneur securing funding. These principles aren't just abstract theories, they're tangible tools for creating real change in your own life.
So as you head back into your week, here's a final thought to maybe mull over. We started by saying the brain might be wired for negativity, and that positivity is a trained skill, if that's true. What small, consistent action will you commit to starting today to begin that rewiring process in your own inner world?
Because ultimately, mastering your thoughts, as Storm suggests, it isn't just about feeling a bit better day to day.
It's about actively building the future you truly desire.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
We really hope this has given you some powerful tools and insights to maybe flip your inner world upside down in the best possible way. Until next time.